and we will get them. But I will not now, not ever, support raising the gas tax. Finally, let's increase the gas tax by 10 cents over the next 3 years.
I would not run if President Trump ran.
I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
Every person on social media should be verified by their name.
I never said government should go and require anyone's name.
But what we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that.
For claiming the retirement age is, quote, way too low. Where do
I
you
have
stand?
never once said that. I never said Hillary Clinton was an inspiration.
I went with my friend Eleanor Kitzman to a Furman leadership program where Hillary Clinton was speaking. And I walked out of there and I said, I'm running for office.
Yeah, man. We knew she was a liar. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. We got some breaking news involving Nikki Haley that is allegedly going to hit very, very soon after I drop this video. So if you're watching this as soon as it drops, then the news hasn't officially broke yet. She hasn't come out and said anything, but we're going to be diving into that. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
All right, let's bring in Brett Baer joining on the phone with this breaking news. Brett, of course, we just found out. Thanks so much. Well, Ben, you can stick around. Thanks so much, Brett, for joining us. The first off, Nikki Haley at 10 o'clock today will make an announcement. According to Wall Street Journal, she's going to drop out of the race, and she will delay endorsing Donald Trump, if at all.
Yeah, good morning. We are hearing that as well. And you know, this is what had been expected after the results of Super Tuesday, winning Vermont, but losing all the other contests. She then suspends her campaign with wins in the District of Columbia and Vermont. The part about not endorsing Donald Trump, I think, will probably be vexing for some in the Republican Party. And we'll see how she phrases it and how that all comes about. But suspending the campaign brings essentially this race to an end, and Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee with just a few delegates to go before clinching it mathematically.
That's right. Brett, quoting the Wall Street Journal article, it says, and we know this first part, Haley won't announce an endorsement Wednesday, the people close to the campaign said. But this is the part I want your comment on. Haley will encourage Donald Trump, who is close to having the delegates needed to win the Republican nomination, to earn the support of Republicans and independent voters who backed her. What does she want to happen with that?
Well, Steve, I mean, this could be a negotiating ploy. Who knows? I don't think she's on the top of the list for VP. At least that's the sense you get.
Which, hey, listen, okay, I'll be the first to admit that's not a terrible move by Nikki Haley, right? Because I always like to put myself in other people's shoes and try to see things from their perspective, and then I navigate from there. You know, I give my analysis from that perspective, or at least I try to, right? Like, what would I do if I was in those shoes, looking at things from that perspective and realizing I don't really have a job anymore, right? So what could I possibly do? Well, I earned some support. Now, granted, I feel like a big chunk of Nikki Haley's support was Democrats, right? So, I mean, you got a little sliver, but I'm going to try to take advantage of that sliver, and I'm going to say, hey, let's negotiate here. Give me a job in your administration, right? I see the writing on the wall. Like, I saw it a long time ago, but hey, listen, I don't have a job. So I was just like, hey, if these elitists are going to keep giving me money, I'm just going to keep running. Like, sure, you know? But hey, give me a job in your administration and I'll endorse you. And, you know, I don't have a lot, but, you know, the few true Republicans that were sticking with me, I'll let them know, hey, should vote for you. Now, sure, it's a little dirty. I will admit that. But I think we all have to put ourselves in those shoes and try to see it from that perspective. What would you do if you were in this exact situation? You were running against Donald Trump, right? And you clearly were about to lose. I mean, it was obvious. But you had no other job. You had nothing to go back to. Nothing. Once this was over, I think a lot of us would at least try, like, let's negotiate here. Let's negotiate. I rock with you, Trump, but hey, let's negotiate here. Like, it's not like a, oh, I don't like you kind of thing. We negotiate with different stuff all the time, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't blame her for it, right? I wouldn't blame her too much for it. Now, depending on how she words things, my opinion could change on that. So I reserve the right to change my opinion on that, depending on what she says in this alleged speech that she's about to give here shortly, where she's going to drop out. Now, if she comes out and says some outlandish stuff, well, hey, I take everything I said back, okay? But, if she comes out and, she's humble and, says, I don't know, I'm gonna go take my time with my family. And, I'll have something for you guys. I'll have something to say again, in a couple of weeks or something. I don't know. She says something like that without really bashing Trump or like trying to throw him under the bus and do this and do that, like throw little slide cheap shots and like, all right, cool. But if she starts doing the whole cheap shots and throwing the jabs and at Trump, nope. Everything I said is out the window. But how do y'all feel about it? Maybe I'm wrong. How do y'all feel? Let me know.
From Trump world and the former president himself. But I do think that this sounds like a negotiating point, and there's got to be some unity messaging here in this speech, because that's, I think, what the Republican Party is yearning for.
Yeah. So, Brett, I'm so sorry, Nancy, go ahead. When you look at the tea leaves, and you've covered this for years, how bloody was this process? Is it comparable to any other moment in time where there can be some repair?
Yeah, listen, Lawrence, Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush were pretty ugly at times and ran some really tough campaign ads against each other. Maybe not as pointed elbows as we got to at the end here, but it was ugly. Obviously, they came back together and became a ticket. Not sure that's going to happen this time. And I think how she talks about this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, is going to be crucial. And also how the former president reacts to that. If it irks him and he reacts, it's one thing. Right. And I think you saw his speech last night. I do think that there was an effort. There was an effort to kind of specifically avoid that topic until he figured out what exactly was happening.
Brett, usually when we see candidates mend their relationship, it's when they need one another. Look at Ted Cruz. It was a battle, talking about each other's wives.
Until May.
Right, and then Ted Cruz needed him down in Texas. Donald Trump went down there and helped him with that race when he was running against Beto O'Rourke, and we've seen that time and time again. And so if they don't need each other, do you think the question is, if Nikki Haley wants to continue and have a future in politics, then maybe they can come together because maybe they'll need each other down the road?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Ainsley, and that is a great analogy as well. Ted Cruz, he went all the way to the convention. You remember he gave that speech on the floor, and then the Trump family walked in and sat there while he was speaking? I mean, that was pure drama.
Vote your conscience.
That's right, but I think that I think it is possible. It's just a matter of figuring out how you can scratch each other's back. And I'm not sure that VP is the one.
It's interesting. What Kellyanne Conway said is that Jared and Ivanka are really tight with the Haley family.
But Don Jr., remember, has tweeted he doesn't like her. He doesn't want her to be.
No chance she should be vice president.
Should be vice president. But
no, I don't think she will be a vice. But I do think, in all seriousness, that she will have a spot in the Trump administration. She will have some type of job. I would be willing to. No, I wouldn't. I was going to say I'd be willing to make a bet on it, but no, I'm just short of being willing to make a bet that she will have some type of job. And it could be anything. It could be something. If I were Trump, personally, I would probably give her some meaningless job in the administration, right? Just as a strategic move. We all know the saying, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. He knows who she is. I don't think he's going to be fooled this time. He's even said it himself. He was like, I forgot like what speech it was, but he basically said, yeah, about my first go around, I didn't really know a whole lot. So I was taking recommendations from folks on who I should put where and who would be great for this spot or that spot. And, now I know. Now I know who's weak. I know everybody. So I don't think he'll be fooled. Right? I don't think there would be anything to worry. And this is why, because I've seen, not many of you guys, but a few of y'all say, Rich 2028. And I'm like, absolutely not. I can't, because I would be wanting to make, strategic moves and putting people in certain places or even saying certain things to be strategic that, you guys, my base, like, wouldn't necessarily agree with, but I couldn't come out and say, like, don't worry, guys, it's all good. I'm being strategic here, Like, I would be trying to play chess with this whole entire situation, which I'm sure Trump is doing as well. And one of my personal chess moves would be to put a Nikki Haley in some type of meaningless job in the administration. Not anything important, not anything where she could really, affect anything or mess up anything or, do a whole lot, but she's got a job, that would be one of my strategic moves. And I would act like, hey, Nikki Haley's my buddy, and I would act like that. But I know that would rub some people the wrong way. Like, hold on, why is he buddy with Nikki Haley? And in the back of my mind, I'm like, hey, relax. But obviously you can't say that because then that blows the cover, So like, it's just like, nah, I'd rather not even go down that route. It'd just be too frustrating because I'm like, trust me, guys, trust me, while I'm trying to make some moves, but I don't know. Anyway.
They were close. So remember, she came down and before she called President Trump before she ran, she said, listen, I'm going to reverse my decision. I'm going to go run. And basically the same thing Tim Scott did. I'm going to go run too. But it looked like Haley, who started in single digits, ends up being the #1 contender for the next 3 months. That's when she changed her tone. And that's when she began to make a difference because she, as Gavin Newsom said, ended up being the best surrogates the Democrats had. His quote was, I hope she stays in the race as long as possible. So that takes the nuance out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And listen, the wins she had, Vermont and District of Columbia, those are places where Democrats could walk in and vote for Nikki Haley. And it didn't feel like there was this big Republican outpouring. There is a part of her support that is skeptical Trump or anti-Trump. He probably does have to mend that in order to get all of the votes he needs come November.
100%. We'll end that one there. I do think Trump needs to try to mend that a little bit, right? I don't think he needs to go above and beyond, okay, just to appease a few people, because at the end of the day, I feel like a large portion of Nikki Haley's supporters were Democrats. I mean, hence the places where she actually got a W. You just heard it there. Places where Democrats could actually vote for Nikki Haley. So I think that really proves a point. But I do think Trump should try something. Now, what that something is, I'm not too sure. Maybe it is, letting Nikki Haley know, hey, I'll give you, a job in the administration. It'll be meaningless. But, I'll give you a job in the administration, and then Nikki Haley does that legwork for him. She comes out and endorses him and brings that, that small percentage over to Trump. Because at the end of the day, this is my thing. Yes, we may be ahead now, but we're 8 months out. We're a long way away from the election, and I want to ensure that we secure a W. I want to win. I'm a competitor. So I don't want to like get this arrogance about me or about us, right? Where we've got it in the bag, everything's good. Yay, let's celebrate now. Like, no. Have you guys ever seen like the compilation videos of the people celebrating too early, right? There's one clip of a guy like celebrating in a race, and then he gets passed like right at the end, and he's looking like, hold on, wait, what the and then he tries to take off, and it's too late. The guy already passed him and crossed the finish line, and he comes in second. You know, I don't want that type of moment to happen. So I want to do anything and everything we possibly can do that is legal, right? I want to say that because people might try to twist my words. That is legal to try to secure this W. And one of those things is, hey, let's extend an olive branch to Nikki Haley so we can garner, it might only be a few, but we can garner her supporters as well onto this Trump train and make it even stronger to ensure that we take this W. That's just my humble opinion on it. How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.